Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that took me years to figure out in this life. You don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to be for everybody. And you don't have to say yes to everything. What you truly need to be is valuable, not available. Because when you make yourself too available, you lower your worth in the eyes of people. But when you focus on being valuable, people seek you, people respect you, and people are willing to pay the price for what you bring to the table. See, we live in a world where everybody wants your time, your family, your friends, your job, even strangers. And if you give yourself away to everyone, there's nothing left for you. But when you guard your space, when you build yourself up, when you sharpen your skills, your presence becomes precious. Value is created in scarcity. If diamonds were lying all over the streets, no one would treasure them. It's their rarity that makes them priceless. You got to start treating your time, your energy, and your talent the same way. Value comes from scarcity. And this is something that most people overlook in their everyday lives. When something is easily available at all times, people begin to take it for granted, no matter how important or meaningful it might be. Think about it. Water is the most essential thing for human life. But because it flows out of our taps every single day, we barely think twice about it. Yet if you were stranded in the desert with no access to it, you would treat one bottle of water like it was the most precious treasure on earth. The truth is, our lives work in the same way. When we make ourselves too available to people, they stop valuing our time, our energy, and our presence. They start to expect it as if it's a right instead of appreciating it as a privilege. This is why learning to limit availability is not about being selfish. It is about protecting your worth and teaching others how to respect it. When you are always available, you create the illusion that your time is cheap. People will keep calling you because they know you will always answer. They will keep asking for your help because they know you will always say yes. They will keep pulling you in directions that may not serve your growth because you have allowed yourself to be seen as endlessly accessible. Over time, you lose the power of your presence because it no longer feels rare, and rarity is what creates value. Scarcity is not about absence, it is about presence with purpose. The more intentional you become with when and where you show up, the more people begin to recognize the weight of your presence. Consider the example of luxury items. A high-end watch is not just a tool for telling time. A diamond is not just a piece of rock. What gives them value is not simply their function, it is their scarcity. You can buy a regular watch at any store, but you can't walk into just any place and find a Rolex. That difference creates distinction. People pay more not because the object is radically different in use, but because it is rare and refined. Your life, your gifts, and your talents work the same way. If you offer them to everyone all the time with no boundaries, you are like a common item that blends in with everything else. But when you understand the power of scarcity and begin to treat your energy like a rare resource, people will start to approach you with respect, care, and appreciation. Then shift also forces you to evaluate how you value yourself. Often, the reason people make themselves too available is because they are seeking validation. They want to be liked, they want to be needed, they want to feel important, so they say yes to every request, they agree to every meeting, they take every phone call, they allow everyone to have access to them without limits. But deep down, this constant availability drains them, leaves them empty, and makes them feel unappreciated. The problem is not with other people. It's with how they are teaching others to treat them. By constantly giving themselves away, they are unconsciously sending the message that their time is not worth protecting. When you flip that mindset and start treating your time as rare and precious, people learn quickly that access to you is valuable, not casual. Scarcity teaches discipline. It makes you selective. Instead of scattering yourself in places where you are not respected, you learn to place yourself in environments that elevate your value. Instead of saying yes out of fear of rejection, you begin saying yes out of intention. Every moment of your time is like currency, and the way you spend it determines the kind of return you get on it. If you waste it on everyone and everything, you end up bankrupt. But if you spend it wisely and sparingly, you build wealth in relationships, opportunities, and self-respect. Scarcity doesn't mean shutting people out. It means choosing where your presence has the most power. When you understand that value comes from scarcity, you stop chasing everyone's approval. You stop trying to be everything for everybody. Instead, you start focusing on being something meaningful for the right people and the right opportunities. And that is where real respect and recognition begin. Guard your time and energy. They are priceless resources that determine the quality of your life and the level of success you could ever achieve. Too many people live as though their time is infinite, giving it away without a second thought. But time is the one resource you can never replace. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose opportunities and create new ones, but every minute that slips through your fingers is gone forever. When you begin to understand that your hours, your days, and your years are limited, you start to realize just how foolish it is to waste them on things or people that don't add value to your growth. Guarding your time is not about being selfish. It is about being a good steward of the life you've been given. If you don't protect it, others will waste it for you, and by the time you notice, you'll be left with regret instead of fulfillment. Your energy works the same way. It's not endless, and it's not free. Every day, you wake up with a certain amount of energy, mental, emotional, and physical. And how you spend that determines how much you can achieve. If you allow negativity, toxic relationships, or meaningless tasks to drain you, you won't have the strength left for the things that truly matter. Too often, people confuse being busy with being productive, and they wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, thinking it proves their worth. But the truth is, constant busyness only shows a lack of boundaries. Real strength lies in knowing where to direct your energy so that it produces results instead of just motion. Guarding your energy means saying no without guilt, walking away from situations that deplete you, and refusing to give space in your mind to people who don't deserve it. When you begin to guard your time and energy, you immediately raise your value in the eyes of others. People start to notice that you are intentional, that you don't just give yourself away freely, and that being in your presence is something to be respected. They stop taking you for granted because they realize that your time is expensive and your energy is sacred. This changes the dynamic in every relationship, personal or professional, because people who respect your boundaries will rise to meet your standards, and people who can't handle those boundaries will fall away on their own. Either way, you win because you create space for those who truly value what you bring. Guarding your time also forces you to prioritize. When you stop giving your minutes to everything, you start asking yourself the right questions. What really matters to me? What aligns with my goals? What will help me grow? And what will only keep me stuck? Suddenly, life becomes less about trying to please everyone and more about building something meaningful. When you stop being reactive, always pulled in every direction, and start being proactive, designing your days around the things that feed your future. This shift is powerful because it replaces distraction with focus, and focus is the birthplace of achievement. Without guarding your time, you scatter yourself thin. But when you protect it, you concentrate your power on what truly counts. Energy, once guarded, becomes a force multiplier. When you use it wisely, you can do in a few hours what others take days to accomplish. You bring passion, clarity, and excellence to your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. But when you misuse it, spreading yourself too thin, you show up tired, distracted, and unfocused, which only diminishes your impact. Guarding your energy doesn't mean avoiding challenges. It means ensuring that the challenges you face are worthy of the strength you bring. It means recognizing that you cannot fight every battle, but you can win the battles that matter most if you choose them carefully. Your time and energy are the foundation of everything you will ever build in life. They are more precious than money, more valuable than status, and more powerful than opportunity. Because without them, you cannot take advantage of any opportunity, earn any money, or enjoy any success. That's why you must treat them like treasures, locking them away from people and things that don't deserve them, and invest in them only where the return will be growth, purpose, and fulfillment. People respect what they can't easily access, and that truth applies in every corner of life. Human nature is wired to value what feels rare, difficult to obtain, or hard to reach. When something or someone is available all the time, it becomes ordinary in people's eyes, no matter how important it truly is. This is why the way you present yourself to the world matters so much. If you allow everyone unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your presence, they stop recognizing it as special. But when you are intentional about where you show up, when you create boundaries around your life, and when you make your presence purposeful, people begin to see you differently. They begin to attach weight and importance to your presence because it is not something they can simply assume will always be there. Think about how people react to celebrities or influential leaders. The reason their presence commands attention is not simply because of fame, but because access to them is limited. You cannot just walk up to them anytime you want, and that scarcity creates respect. It doesn't mean you have to be famous to command respect. It simply means you have to set boundaries that make your presence matter. If you are always available to take a call, always running to solve other people's problems, or always showing up without hesitation whenever someone asks, you begin to look less significant. But when people know that they can't have you at the snap of their fingers, they begin to approach you differently. They prepare before meeting you. They value the time they spend with you, and they respect your boundaries. This principle also applies in relationships. When someone knows that no matter what they do, you will always be there, they stop appreciating you. Availability without limits often breeds entitlement, and entitlement kills respect. On the other hand, when you are selective about who gets your time, when you give it to those who have earned it, and when you stand firm on your worth, people treat you with more care. They value your words more. They hold your attention in higher regard, and they recognize that your time is not to be wasted. Respect grows when access is limited. Being intentional about your presence also elevates the way people experience you. If you scatter yourself everywhere, your impact is watered down. But if you reserve your presence for the right spaces, the right conversations, and the right opportunities, your impact becomes stronger. People listen more carefully because they don't hear from you all the time. They value your contribution because they know it is thoughtful and purposeful. You shift from being just another voice in the crowd to being a voice that carries authority and weight. This doesn't happen because you talk more. It happens because you choose carefully when to talk and when to show up. There is also an internal benefit to limiting your accessibility. When you decide that your time and presence are valuable, you start treating yourself with greater respect. You no longer measure your worth by how many people you can please or how many requests you can fulfill. Instead, you begin to measure it by the quality of the contributions you make and the intentionality of your action. You stop living on other people's schedules and start living according to your own values and priorities, This not only makes others respect you more, but also builds your own self-respect. Because you know you are living from a place of strength and purpose rather than availability and desperation. Scarcity of presence is not about playing games or trying to manipulate people. It is about understanding human nature and protecting your worth. When people can't easily access you, they appreciate you more when they do. They listen more carefully, they show more gratitude, and they walk away with a sense that the time spent with you matters. The shift from being endlessly available to being intentionally valuable transforms the way people see you and the way you see yourself, because respect always follows rarity. Build your skills, confidence, and mindset to become essential, not common. In life, the difference between someone who is easily replaceable and someone who is irreplaceable is not luck. It is preparation and growth. Skills are the tools you carry. Confidence is the power behind those tools, and mindset is the lens through which you use them. Too many people settle for being common because they stop investing in themselves. They think their current knowledge, their current talent, or their current situation is enough. But the world is constantly changing, and if you're not growing, you are falling behind. To stand out, to be truly valuable, you must become the kind of person who brings something to the table that cannot be ignored or duplicated. Building your skills is the first step. Skills are what make you competent, and competency creates opportunities. When you invest time in learning, practicing, and mastering something, you elevate yourself from being average to being excellent. People respect excellence, and they will always seek it out because it is rare. Think about a master craftsman who can turn a block of wood into art. The wood itself is common, but the skill to transform it is what creates value. The same applies to your life. Whatever field you are in, whether it's business, teaching, art, leadership, or service, the more you refine your skills, the more valuable you become. Skills separate you from the crowd and position you as someone who is not just filling space, but making an impact. Confidence is the force that carries those skills into the world. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you doubt yourself, people will doubt you too. Confidence does not mean arrogance. It means knowing your worth and presenting yourself with assurance. It is the belief that what you bring to the table matters. Confidence makes people listen, it makes people trust, and it makes people want to follow. Without it, even the most gifted person will be overlooked because hesitation kills opportunity. Confidence comes from preparation and self-belief. The more you practice, the more you grow, the more evidence you give yourself that you are capable, the more natural confidence becomes. It is not something you wait for. It is something you build by showing up, trying, failing, learning, and improving. Mindset is the foundation of both skills and confidence. The right mindset keeps you pushing forward when things are hard, when doors close, and when life feels unfair. It is the voice inside you that says, I will not quit, I will not settle, and I will not let this situation define me. Mindset shapes the way you view obstacles, not as dead ends, but as opportunities to grow stronger. A strong mindset separates people who give up from people who rise. It teaches you patience, discipline, and resilience. It keeps you from becoming bitter when things take longer than expected and helps you stay focused on the bigger picture. A powerful mindset ensures that even when your skills are still developing and your confidence is shaky, you keep moving forward until both catch up. When you combine refined skills, unshakable confidence, and a resilient mindset, you stop being common, you become essential. People begin to see you as someone they cannot do without because your presence adds undeniable value. Opportunities chase you instead of you always chasing them. You are no longer just one more person in the crowd. You are the person who makes the difference. Common people can be replaced, but essential people are remembered, respected, and rewarded. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent effort and determination, it happens for those who choose to invest in themselves and refuse to settle for being average. Progress is not business. Invest in growth that multiplies your value. One of the biggest traps people fall into today is mistaking a packed schedule for a productive life. They run from one meeting to another, jump from one task to the next, and end their days exhausted, yet when they look back, they realize they didn't truly move forward. Busyness creates the illusion of progress, but growth creates real progress. Filling your hours with endless activity is easy, but directing your hours toward meaningful development is what separates those who simply exist from those who actually advance. Every successful person understands this difference, and it's why they focus more on outcomes than on appearances. When you fill your life with busyness, you're constantly reacting. You say yes to every request, you rush to meet every demand, and you scatter yourself across tasks that may not align with your bigger goals. On the surface, it looks like you're working hard, but in reality, you're running in circles. Growth, on the other hand, is intentional. It is about choosing the activities that stretch you, challenge you, and prepare you for the future you want. Growth asks you to slow down and think. It pushes you to evaluate where your energy is going and whether it is producing real results. A tree doesn't grow just because the wind is moving through its branches. It grows because its roots are deepening and its trunk is strengthening. In the same way, you don't grow just because your days are busy. You grow because your efforts are directed toward meaningful development. Investing in growth means choosing to spend your time on things that expand your abilities and deepen your understanding. Reading, learning new skills, practicing discipline, and surrounding yourself with people who challenge you are all examples of growth-focused investments. These don't always provide immediate results, but they compound over time. Busyness satisfies the need to feel active in the moment, but growth pays off with long-term reward. You can be busy for years and have nothing to show for it, but a single year of focused growth can transform your life. That's because growth compounds. Every lesson you learn builds on the last. Every skill you master makes the next one easier, and every challenge you overcome increases your strength for the future. Another key difference is that busyness drains you while growth energizes you. When you are simply busy, your days leave you feeling worn out because you're running on empty. But when you are growing, even though it may be hard work, you feel fulfilled because you can see progress. Growth gives you momentum. It makes you excited about the future because you can measure how far you've come. Busyness, on the other hand, keeps you stuck in the same place. You're running, but you're running on a treadmill. Growth makes sure that every step you take actually moves you forward on the path to where you want to be. Busyness also keeps you focused on pleasing others, while growth keeps you focused on improving yourself. When you're busy, you're often living according to other people's priorities. You're doing what they expect, responding to their demands, and trying to keep up with their timelines. But when you invest in growth, you begin to align your life with your own goals. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to what truly matters. When you begin to measure success not by how much you did today, but by how much closer you are to the life you're building, that shift changes everything because it frees you from the pressure of constant activity and gives you the clarity to focus on purposeful action. The people who rise in life are not the ones who stayed the busiest, but the ones who kept growing. They built their value day by day through learning, practicing, and improving. They didn't chase the appearance of movement. They chased transformation. They understood that time is too precious to waste on endless busyness, and that energy is too valuable to spend on tasks that don't multiply their future. Real progress doesn't come from how many hours you feel, but from how wisely you invest them in becoming better, stronger, and more capable than you were yesterday. Your gifts are divine. Protect them, refine them, and let them make room for you. Every person is born with something special inside, a set of talents and abilities that no one else on earth can express in the same way. These gifts are not accidents. They are intentionally placed within you as part of your purpose. But the mistake so many people make is treating their gifts as ordinary, as if they are just hobbies or traits with no deeper meaning. When you fail to recognize the divine nature of what you've been given, you either neglect it or give it away too cheaply. The truth is, your gift is the key to your success, your influence, and your fulfillment. And if you want it to create opportunities for you, you must guard it carefully and commit to developing it. Protecting your gift means being selective about how you use it and who you allow to influence it. Not everyone deserves access to what makes you unique, because some people will try to diminish it, misuse it, or take it for granted. If you allow yourself to keep pouring out your talent in places where it isn't valued, you risk draining yourself without receiving anything in return. Protecting your gift doesn't mean hiding it away. It means using discernment about where you share it. Just as a jeweler doesn't toss diamonds into the street for anyone to trample on, you should not treat your gift as common. It is sacred. And part of your responsibility is to respect it enough to ensure it is never wasted. Refining your gift is equally important. Raw talent is powerful, but it is not enough on its own. A singer may be born with a beautiful voice, but without training, discipline, and practice, that voice will never reach its full potential. An athlete may have natural ability, but without conditioning and coaching, that ability won't take them far. Refinement is the process of polishing your gift until it shines so brightly that it cannot be ignored. This requires dedication, patience, and humility. It means being willing to practice when no one is watching, to fail and try again, to seek mentorship and feedback, and to push yourself beyond comfort. Your gift grows in proportion to the work you invest in it, and the more you refine it, the more undeniable your value becomes. Letting your gift make room for you means trusting that when you nurture it, opportunities will follow. You don't have to chase every door or beg for every seat at the table. When your gift is strong enough, people will come looking for you. They will recognize the excellence you bring, and they will make space for it. This is not arrogance. It is the natural outcome of walking in your purpose with consistency and discipline. Your gift carries authority because it was designed to serve a purpose larger than yourself. The more you refine and protect it, the more it creates opportunities that align with your calling. Many people waste their lives trying to imitate the gifts of others, but comparison will only rob you of the power in your own uniqueness. What belongs to you is already inside you, waiting to be developed. No one else can use it the way you can, and no one else can take it from you if you remain committed to it. This is why it is so important to focus less on competing with others and more on becoming the best version of yourself. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you to show up fully in the gift you were given. Your gift is your responsibility. Protect it from negativity, from laziness, from environments that don't honor it. Refine it with learning, discipline, and excellence. Trust it enough to let it lead you into rooms where you never imagined you would stand. When you treat your gift as divine, it becomes the bridge between who you are and who you were created to be,